back at it again, and we've got one here with Campus Reform. Shout out to Campus Reform. Make sure you guys go subscribe to their YouTube channel. Link will be down below. But the topic of today's discussion is cancel culture. So that's what we're going to be diving in today. But before we do that, make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed to the channel already, hit that subscribe button down below and join the family. Also, make sure you hit that bell button next to it so you are notified when all of these videos drop. Last thing, follow me on social media. All of my social media accounts are down below in the description box. Instagram, Twitter, True Social, Discord server, all of that good stuff is down below. And with that being said, let's dive in.
My name is Heike with Campus Reform, and today we're going to be asking students what they think about the recent protests to remove certain statues off of campuses, including Judge Baylor here. Should they stay or should they go? Let's go see what they think. In recent years, there have been protests around the country to remove certain statues. At one point, there was a protest here at Baylor University to remove the statue of Judge Baylor, co-founder and namesake of the university, in order to promote racial healing. And do you think this was a good idea?
It shows a strong history of the school, but at the same time, that history might not be the best.
You have to balance the historical impact that Judge Baylor has had on campus while also weighing the atrocities.
He's the namesake of the university, but then also I think it's ignorant to act like these things didn't happen.
If he's got racially motivated history, maybe there's some merit to that discussion.
By removing
I'll say this. You went to the university that is named after him. Literally named after the guy. It is his last name, Baylor. And now you're angry because you get there and there's a statue of him. That in and of itself doesn't even make any type of sense. Zero sense. It's literally named after him. If you don't like him that much, don't go to the university. You have that option. You have that option. Do I even need to say anything beyond that? Like, I feel like that in and of itself should be enough, right? You don't have to go there. You know it's named after him. I'm sure on your college visit, they told you about that. They showed you the statue. And if you didn't, I'm sure it wouldn't take long to figure it out. All right, here we go. These folks not making any type of sense once again. But I mean, at this point, what can you expect? You know, every now and then, you know, I'm pleasantly surprised by some responses from, students on some of these campuses. Like, wow, yeah, that's great. And then other times I'm just like, man, these guys are just all sheep. They're all sheep. Anyway, let's continue on.
Racially motivated history, maybe there's some merit to that discussion.
by removing these statues or removing history, and by doing that, there's this fear that we might repeat the history.
The thing is that removing a statue isn't going to promote racial healing. The statue is just that a statue.
I do understand the sentiment to want to remove like a statue given like the racial context.
I personally don't think it's a good idea. Although he did do some bad things, I think it's important to acknowledge it instead of hiding away from it.
Do you think...
Man, oh man, did I speak too soon? Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, happy day. Hold on, look at this bike. Whose bike is this? My goodness. What in the world? Sheesh. That bike need a little TLC. You ain't going anywhere on that bike right there. I mean, literally riding on the rim. I know it had nothing to do with the discussion, but I was looking at the still frame and I was like, whoa, what in the F is going on with that bike? Pleasantly surprised. Okay, now we got some people that are making some sense. Taking the statue down doesn't change history. I don't care what you do. You could tear the statue down. You could tear the building down. It still does not change history. History has already been written. It is done. Finito. Let it go. Some of these folks, man. Some of these folks out here just whew. Man, they are a piece of work, to say the least, okay?
some bad things, I think it's important to acknowledge it instead of hiding away from it.
Do you think having the statue on campus could be problematic in any way?
I think yes, but I think also we face too much backlash for taking it down.
Yes, it could kind of excuse some of those like behaviors.
They didn't get the statue because they were slaveholders.
Anything, I think it's more of a reminder of where we came from and how much progress we've made.
A supporter of the protest said that once they remove Judge Baylor off of campus, then they could start to remove the rest of the stuff on campus that make them feel uncomfortable. So should we remove statues based off of whether we feel uncomfortable or not?
In America, like, a lot of people can get offended over the smallest things. It's just a statue.
At that point, anything and everything.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. We're not about to skirt over that. Tell him again, brother, please. For the people in the back that did not hear you, tell him again.
Whether we feel uncomfortable or not.
In America, like, a lot of people can get offended over the smallest things. It's just a statue.
At that point, anything and everything can be removed to the point where there's basically nothing left.
Removing it is definitely like an option.
No, it's important to have that in the history.
There's a lot of things in this world that make us uncomfortable. If we start like taking everything else that makes us uncomfortable, it could remove like important aspects.
Like, you have to understand like why the people are feeling uncomfortable, and most of the times it's due to like historical events that have happened.
If we just start taking
No, they feel uncomfortable because of themselves. It ain't because of no statue. Because like the gentleman's, or I think it was a chick actually. People, if you start allowing stuff like that, eventually everything is going to be torn down. Every single thing. Everything. You know, somebody's going to say, you know what? I don't like that building. It's too tall. It makes me feel uncomfortable. The building is too square. I don't like the squareness of the corners. It really offends me because those are sharp and very dangerous. What if a kid trips and falls and hits the corner of that building right there? I know it sounds foolish, but I'm sure there are people out there, and probably already has been someone out there, that has said something that foolish and really believed it. They're doing this to themselves. It's time we stop playing the game with them, you know? Stop it with the nonsense. Get on with life.
Aspects.
Like, you have to understand like why the people are feeling uncomfortable, and most of the times it's due to like historical events that have happened.
Wrong.
If we just start taking away things that make other people uncomfortable, what's going to be left?
There's not really a good reason to be removing a statue, then I don't really see the point.
Who should decide whether or not the statue should be removed, and on what grounds?
That's a good question.
Would you be in favor of removing other familiar symbols like names off of buildings or the American flag?
I don't believe we should start removing things just because they make me feel uncomfortable.
There can be names that can be revisited on our campus. So,
No, I would not.
I wouldn't, because if we don't learn from our history, we will repeat it.
No.
There's been so much freedom and like so many other things positive.
No, it's a part of history.
It's the reason why these people did something good that their names are there, not because they did something bad.
Some may argue that by removing the statues, that you're erasing history, and that if you can't recall history, you're bound to repeat it. And so is it possible that we can acknowledge the history of these statues and learn from their mistakes so that we aren't bound to repeat them?
I don't think we're really in danger of that with the internet.
As long as people are being informed like about, what Judge Baylor did.
100%. I think we can always learn from the past.
I think so, and I think that's the important part of having these statues.
Removing statues does put that like as a possibility.
That is basically the true calling of history. Remember them for what they did good, but still remembering that they are humans.
Absolutely.
I do believe that.
Definitely.
Yes, actually I do agree with that. Because people still need to be knowledgeable. Something can't just simply be erased from history.
So that actually turned out not to be so bad. I spoke way too soon when it comes to that. But the one guy was talking about the internet. One thing that I will say, especially for the folks that were saying it should be torn down in the beginning, I don't think they realize how fragile things really are. Because especially even my generation, we haven't really experienced like true tragedy, you know, like something serious. We never went through a world war, you know? And so it's made people really, really soft. Really, really soft. The internet could be gone in the blink of an eye. And then what? Right? Then what? A lot of these folks out here would just absolutely panic because they don't know what to do without the internet. And granted, a lot of our society would fall apart because it depends upon the internet. There needs to be that connection. But then also, on top of that, I know a lot of these students out here would love to, because she posed the question, would you support getting rid of the American flag? And we checked out a video, it was probably 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago now, of college students saying, yes, we don't support the American flag. I think there was like 7 students and 3 or 4 out of the 7 said no to the American flag. They don't want it in classrooms. And I'm just like, wait, what? You guys have no idea how privileged you are. You literally won the lottery being born in America. You won the lottery. Case in point, look at Brittany Griner. If Brittany Griner had been convicted of the same thing here that she's convicted of over there, I mean, she wouldn't have even got, well, she might have gotten booked. She would have gotten, you know, all that good stuff done, and they would have released her within an hour. She has 9 years. I think 8, actually, because they gave her, like, time served or something. She has 8 years in prison. Now, granted, a law is a law, you know? You broke the law there, so you have to, your sentence according to their laws, right? But at the same time, my point is, things are not the same when you go to these other countries. Go to some of these other countries. Go to Venezuela. Go to Cuba. Go to Russia. Go to China. Go to North Korea and speak down on these countries' leaders the same way that they speak about the U.S. Oh, man. You'd never see some of these folks ever again. Ever again. And I think that's the unfortunate part, because a lot of these teachers out here want to make things seem like sunshine and rainbows all across the world, you know. Like, man, you go to some of these other places and they will F you up. You say some of the stuff that you say here. They will mess you up. And some of them will do a lot worse than that. You'll never be found again. Man. We got to start teaching these kids the truth. And I think once they really learn the truth and they get to actually see it, because they're being shielded from it, the actual truth. And I'm not saying every place on earth is like a mean and terrible place, and every place except for the U.S. is absolutely trash. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is you are very privileged to live in a country where you can openly criticize said country without fear of persecution. Well, that's changing a little bit here. But even still, with it changing even a little bit here, it's still nowhere near where it is in a lot of these other countries. Nowhere near it. And that's just one aspect of things. That's just one aspect. Didn't touch on everything else that involves life. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, we gotta take back our schools and obviously stop teaching this woke stuff and get back to teaching the truth and showing kids the truth about life. But once again, happy to see that some of these students really had some common sense and stood up to the woke crowd. Because of course, you know, a bunch of the woke folks, oh yeah, tear down the statues, erase. Tearing down a statue doesn't erase history. But as always, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.